Look, I look a little bit different today, but that's okay. I got my hat on, but we gonna do this. Hello, hello, and hello. Yes, I'm looking a little bit different today, and again, my scenery has changed because I'm in a different location. But that's okay, because this message is still getting ready to go out. But welcome back to Jay's Days. Woo! The wind is really blowing out here. But before we get into everything, you know we're going to do what we always do, and that's our shout out. Shout out to all of our likers, shout out to all of our subscribers, all of our friends, family, everybody. We do this for you. By we, I do mean me. So let's get into it. Today, I just wanted to hop into a little subject that, like, while I was at my mom's house, it kind of just like, I saw it a little bit, not with my mom, but like, we were just talking about some of the things that she was experiencing, and I was like, that's bullying. Like, I didn't realize that even in our adult lives, like, we can still experience bullying. Like, I thought that bullying was so juvenile, but it really can follow you all of your days. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, it's absolutely ludicrous, but it is a real thing, and people are dealing with this sometimes on a daily basis, sometimes, you know, in their work environments, in their school environments. We know that mostly bullying tends to happen with our youth, and those are the people who are suffering detrimentally from, if I think that's the word, but they are really dealing with this, and it's causing them to either really retreat into themselves or feel like they're not good enough, or, you know, even some of them in some cases have taken their own lives, which is so unfortunate. And so we really don't ever want anybody to have to experience something like that or feel as though they have to get to that point where they no longer feel it necessary or deem it necessary that their life is important, that they don't need to be here. So before I like really get into a little bit of stuff, I don't have a lot, but I just want to touch on a few things. Obviously, the definition of bullying, y'all know I had to get my little notes. So the definition of bullying is an ongoing and deliberate misuse of power in relationships through repeated verbal, physical, and or social behaviors that intend to cause physical, social, and or psychological harm. And so many times we don't, well, let me speak for myself. So many times I don't see some of the things that I may be saying as a form of bullying, or some of the things that I may be, you know, expressing to people. A lot of times people say, well, this is just how I talk, or this is just how I am, or something of that nature. And what you don't realize is that you're, as my mom would say, you're putting a nick on people's hearts. I just watched a show called The 100 Humans, and they gave them the task of putting a plate on a stick and making it spin. And one of the young men, I felt so bad for him. He's not even a young man, but he's a young man. He's 86 years old, and he could not do it. But the judge's job was to criticize him, and he said to this young man, you know, I have a dog, and my dog could do this better than you. And that man felt so bad, and like, not even gonna lie, like, I felt so bad for him. Like, I'm like, you really just hurt this man's feelings. And like, that's, even though it was his job, like, that was a form of bullying for that man. That man felt bullied, and he felt like, really like he wasn't good enough. And like, eventually they told him that that was what the man's job to do was. And so he felt much better, but in that moment, he felt really bad, and I felt really bad for him, because it wasn't really that bad. But to carry on, as I just said, the definition of bullying is that ongoing and deliberate misuse of power in your relationships. There are actually two modes of bullying. One can be direct, as in I'm saying something to you that is bullying, or indirect, whereas I'm not saying anything specifically to you, but you know it's for you. So direct is obviously in the presence of the target, and then indirect is not directly communicated to that person, and an example of that is like someone spreading rumors. And so a lot of this information came from bullyingresources.gov, and it was more geared towards youth, because that is the age range that is dealing with this the most. But again, this can happen to anybody, and that's one of my points out here, is that bullying can happen anywhere. It can happen online, it can happen at work, it can happen at school, it can happen in the grocery store, and it can happen to anybody. It can happen to me. It has happened to me. I've been bullied. I was bullied all through school. But look at me now. No, I'm just playing. But no, I did get bullied. There are also 4 types of bullying, and that includes physical, verbal, and relational, which are efforts to harm the reputation or the relationship of said targets. And then there is also the damage to property, and all of us know what that means. It's somebody trying to tear up your stuff because they mad. And ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. And that's just like, it's really crazy to me, some of the things that, you know, can happen when somebody is bullying you or you're being bullied. Ciao. So between 1 and 3 students have been bullied. That's a lot. When you think about how many students are at a school, if you take 3 students, line them up in, you know, in groups of 3, 1 out of that 3 has been bullied. You know how many students that would be? That is a lot. That is an extreme and excessive amount of kids who have been bullied, and it's unacceptable. Like, these kids should not be dealing with this type of stuff. So part of that is people need to teach their kids to be more tolerant and tell their kids to keep their mouth off of other people. Shoot, y'all need to leave people alone. Like, everybody is not going to be like you. Everybody's not going to look like you, not going to dress like you, not going to talk like you. They're not going to be like you. They're not you. You do you, worry about you, and keep it cute. Keep it pushing. If you don't like what somebody has, or you don't like what somebody has on, or whatever the case may be, don't worry about it, because it's not for you. Like, I don't put on my ensemble for not an person, but Javon Dominique. That's me, Javon Dominique. Okay, all right. Just so that we're all clear. Anyway, I'm crazy. So about 20% of students, this was in 2017, about 20% of students between the ages of 12 to 18 report being bullied. That's a lot. Again, that's a lot. 20%. Like, you think that it's not a lot, but when you look at the amount of students at a school or in a classroom, 20% is a lot. That's a lot. And then approximately, this is crazy, approximately 30% of youth admit to being bullies. Like, number one, I ain't finna be telling nobody that I'm a bully out here, but that's just crazy to me. Like, y'all are really out here bullying kids for being different. And mind you, like, I can't even tell you all of the times that I got bullied. Some of the things that I got bullied for was, let me see. Well, I got bullied for being the church kid at first, and then I got bullied for being the gay kid. And I'm like, okay, what else y'all gonna come up with? And then for a long time, it was just I was the gay kid, and then I dressed differently than everybody else. So it was like, well, as you can see, like, I got on a crop top and hair. So it was just like, people didn't understand me, and they didn't need to. And it was just like, people just took their own emotions or the things that they were dealing with, and they threw it at me. But it's not okay. I mean, I came out okay. I turned out great. I'm not okay. I'm far from okay. I'm great. But it's just like, in those situations, like, that made me feel really, really, really bad about myself in the moment, because it's like, well, dang, like, what's wrong with me? You know, like, why is it that my peers, or these people who I thought were gonna be my friends, are treating me so badly? It's just bad, y'all. It's just bad. Like, don't be a bully. Please, please, please don't be a bully, because bullies get beat up at some point. No, I'm just playing. But no, don't be a bully, because at the end of the day, like, everybody is human. Everybody deserves to feel respect and be respected, and be respected. Not just feel respect, but be respected, regardless of if we agree with who they are, what they do, what they look like, what they got on, all of that. Like, I'm just advocating for the stop of bullying. Like, just stop it. It's not necessary. And it doesn't do you any good, because most of the bullies that I know became fat and ugly. I'm gonna just say that. Just say that. No tea, no shade. But it is what it is. I think that's really all I'm gonna say. But listen, y'all just be blessed out here. Don't let your kids go into these situations in school and stuff like that when they go back to school. Even at your house, don't be a bully to your kids. Like, don't do that. That's not cool. These kids who are bullied at home bully kids who are bullied at home bully elsewhere. They become the bullies because you're a big bully. So now they're gonna be a bully to somebody else that they think that they got more power over. That's usually how it goes. But hurt people hurt people. That's literally what bullying is. Hurt people hurting people. So anyway, because this wind is about to drive me crazy, I'm gonna go in the house. But y'all be blessed. I love y'all. Bless up.